Today we're working on a 2024 Lincoln Navigator that was hitting the front end and rebuilt. We got a few parts that we got to put on steering column and a few other things. When we get to tearing into this, just stay tuned. Was already off, but you'll just remove this cover with a couple of 7mm bolts that go in here and there. And I'm sure all the Navigators and Explorers from several years are the same. I know columns bolt up the same way they've had for years, but you'll remove this harness from there because we're trying to take the system out. And then don't forget your link underneath here. I've already have it disconnected. You will take, on these it's 10mm, on GMs it's 11s, on most of them. We're going to move that, and these two bolts up here, and the two bolts in the rear, and then we'll remove that. Now here's the deal, if you're only putting a clock spring, or whatever, a steering angle sensor in your column, you've got to make sure it's crucial that you do not turn this steering wheel. The steering wheel needs to be straight at all times, because all we're replacing here is a column, so we're going to reuse the guts and everything out of this column. So we don't want anything to spin out of angle or degrees. So that's going to be what we're going to do here. Once I get it out, I'll get it on the bench and I'll show you what we guys got. Because obviously the bag didn't blow in this crash incident. But what you're pushing, to take this steering airbag off, there's little holes. You see them holes? There's two holes on each side. And what you're doing, you're taking a little pocket screwdriver, and all you're trying to do is just get in there and push that bar right there to release the tabs on the airbag, to get them to release the airbag. Sometimes they can be a pain in the butt. This one, with it being on the bench, I was able to turn it over and look down in there and find the rod. But that's where we're at so far. I kind of want to show you guys step by step so you don't mess anything up or tear any wires or anything up. So as I get the column tore down, I'll show you more and more of what I'm doing. So stay tuned. Alright, back at Stanley's garage. The last step that y'all seen was pulling the airbag module out. Once we got it out, this is the only thing besides the two connectors. You got your connector here. Besides that connector, you just disconnect it. You take that bolt out, which is a Torx 50. You take it out, and then the steering wheel just slides right off. Now, when you get to this point, you've got four Torx 25s. You've got one there, you've got one there, one there, and one there. Now, here's a good deal to think about when you're tearing them apart. Is to tape that sensor, the steering sensor, because you don't want it moving or none of that. So we taped it up, got the old steering column down. Now you guys are probably wondering why we're changing the column after it's been hit. Well, these sensors right here is an airbag sensor for the column, and it's bolted to the column. Well, you can't just get the sensor, you have to order the whole column. Obviously, once it blows, it runs the sensor and it can't be reused, and so that's why we're changing the whole column out. Now once we get the new column up there, and it's got a rod in there, so you don't take that out till you get it put in there. It keeps it from steering and throwing everything off on the front there. So once we get everything swapped back over, from there, it's pretty much plug and play, guys. You just put it all back together, put it in there, and it's probably have to have a scanner to do an angle relearn or whatever the sorts is. I've not looked it up on Ford Service information, but I'm sure there's a reset procedure on the steering angle and a relearn. So that's what we're going to do, guys. I appreciate y'all watching, and like and subscribe.